What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Demon Reads Comics. Today we're continuing on with the Sin City Book 4 by Frank Miller. And of course, like I've been saying, I got it in the Absolute edition. This one, as you can see, it's a C, starting the fourth book from, I already read the first three. This one's starting the C for the Sin City. And this one's called That Yellow Bastard. Now, if you guys haven't watched the movie, it does have to do with a completely different character that we haven't seen before, like Marv or Dwight. The only one that really connects all of them together is Nancy. When they go to Caddy's lounge bar and you see Nancy dancing, that's what really connects all of them, all the stories so far together. And she's kind of like the pivotal character in all of them, right? So before we get, into the story itself, let's check this out, right? Let's check the Absolute and everything it comes with. So first and foremost, it is a slipcase because it is an Absolute. Front, back. Set that to the side here. And then, like all the previous ones, it does come with this little paper. Shows you everything that it comes with. And then it comes with the portfolio picture as well. And again, like the other ones, this matches the cover of the Absolute. It's all matte black with shiny black for the accents. And it's a picture of Matt Hartigan. I'm sorry, not Matt. John Hartigan. I don't know why I keep calling him Matt, but yeah, so this story is a different character finally, not Marv and Dwight. I'm going to set the book, or the slipcover itself, to the side. And here's the book itself. As you guys can see here, it matches the portfolio. It says Frank Miller, Sin City, That Yellow Bastard. Again, by Frank Miller, published by Dark Horse Comics. As you can see right here, book 4. This also matches the other ones as well, Sin City, and it says That Yellow Bastard. And the back of it, it says, an old man dies, a little girl lives, fair trade, Hartigan, That Yellow Bastard. And again, like the other ones, there's a lot more, or there's a lot of people that were involved in this as well. The big old list, which I'll go over. And so yeah, let's get started with this. Let's crack this open. Now, I'm sorry, actually, I forgot to do this in the beginning part of the video. It does have that red, edging for the paper, and it does have sewn binding. So let's go ahead and crack this open and kind of go over the story a little bit. All right, so here we go. Sin City, or Frank Miller's Sin City, That Yellow Bastard. I do want to say something about this one. This one changed the game. Now, don't get me wrong. The first 4 books were absolutely amazing. The story was amazing, even though I knew what was going to happen. This story is amazing, even though I know what's going to happen because it was in the movie. And like I previously mentioned, I've seen the movie first, so I didn't go into this book blind. But this one in particular changed the game, and I'll tell you guys why here in a little bit. So the first page, the end page, is just red and black, and then you get a good picture of John Hartigan. I was gonna call him Matt again. And then you get the big Sin City, Volume 4, That Yellow Bastard. And then, like I previously mentioned, these are all the people that were involved in this. You guys want to pause that and take a look at it. What's weird is I don't actually see where like Frank Miller was a designer, the art producer, like nothing. It's just a whole bunch of other people, but I guess the story was written by Frank Miller and everything else was by, all these people. And this one is dedicated to Robert Philip Miller. I'm not sure, how or who this person is with Frank Miller, so I do want to do maybe a little bit of research on that, but I mean, dedications could be to anybody. I'm currently writing a book, and it's dedicated to my daughter and to the people that helped me write it. So not everybody's gonna know who those people are that I dedicate it to. But anyway, why is this book a game changer, and why am I saying that? First and foremost, like in the movie, I know you guys, if you guys haven't seen it, and if you guys did, the movie is in black and white. but there is always color accents in it. Like for example, when we the first book, The Hard Goodbye with Marv, Goldie, she had gold hair accent in the movie. Like her hair was the only thing that stuck out in black and white, right? And then the next one, A Dame to Kill For, Ava had blue eyes and or green eyes, and that's what really stuck out. In the very last book that I read, the book volume 3, the Big Fat Kill, Dwight, his shoes are red, his Corvette is red. That's the accents that you get. Now, they haven't started doing that in those previous 3 books, but they started doing it in this one. And not only did they start doing it, doing the color accents in this book, I noticed that the art in it is more detailed now, way more detailed than it was previously, as you guys can see here. And you guys will see the detail in this a lot more. And because it is more detailed and it's not just in black and white, I mean, it is in black and white, but it's more detailed. You can see the nudity a lot more. So I'm going to have to be careful when I'm flipping through the pages. That being said, what is the story about? Well, like I previously mentioned, the story has to do about Nancy. She's the one that her name is Nancy Callahan, the dancer at Caddy's Bar and Lounge, the one that Marv is drooling over all the time, the one that that Dwight mentioned. This book actually has to do about her, right? And it also introduces a new character. It introduces John Hartigan, a detective cop getting ready to retire. He's looking for a I don't know if it's a serial killer, because I don't know if he kills the girls, but I'm sure he does. He's looking for a serial killer of little girls. And this is victim number 7 right here. Now, it's kind of interesting because John Hartigan's partner is trying to stop him because I think he knows who he is and he can't be touched. So these serial killings are being let happen by other cops, but not John Hartigan's not letting it happen. So he's gonna try to stop this, and he does stop the torture, the whatever the guy's gonna do to this girl right here, Nancy Callahan, and he does stop him, that person, and that person, if you guys don't know, is actually Rourke Jr. Now, after he stops Rourke Jr. and he does a whole bunch of crazy things to him, his partner shoots him in the back. And pretty much he doesn't die, but he ends up going to jail because he killed O'Rourke. And Nancy tells him that she will always keep in contact with him, but so the point where they don't know it's her, only he and Nancy will know it's her. Eventually those letters stop coming and he thinks something happened to Nancy. Take for example, she's 11 years old. And it's after 8 years later, so she's, 18, 19, 20 years old already, and she's an adult already. But he's, he was going on his 60s, so 8 years later, he's about, 60, 70 years old already, and he's an old man. At that time, when he stops receiving the letters, he thinks something's happened, so he admits to everything that the cops want him to admit to, so he can get out, because he thinks something happened to Nancy. And at the time, nothing's really happened to Nancy, but because he got out and went to go follow her, that's when things happened to her. So if he wouldn't have said anything, no, because there was a reason why the letters stopped coming. Like, they kind of did it on purpose. The person that kind of made those letters stop did it on purpose so he can start going crazy and get out. But if he would have just been like, you know what, the letters stopped coming, I'm just going to let it go, and give her some time, then maybe nothing, the events of this story wouldn't unfold. But the events of this story comes back, and there's a reason why the guy is yellow, why it's called the Big Yellow Bastard at the end, or not the end, but the book's called the Big Yellow Bastard, and why the guy is yellow. It explains all of that. It explains why he is the way he is. It explains how he comes back. It explains everything in this. And this is such an amazing story of Nancy, her little backstory, when she was 11 years old to when she grows up to, dancing at Caddy's, and John Hartigan, being thrown in jail, living in jail for a while. As you can see here, I'll flip through it real quick. Let me flip through that part real quick. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, it's right here, actually. Yep, there he is right here. Sitting in jail, rotting away in jail. And this is about the letters part, right? So as you guys can see here, the art of it, it's just so much better. Like Frank Miller stepped up his game, or the writers that, I don't know who exactly stepped up the game from the previous 3 books. But yeah, right here it says, 8 years have passed. So we know what the time frame is. And there's this guy right here, the Yellow Bastard. As you can see here, this is the reason why I say this book was a game changer, because not only did they step up on the details of the page of the art, but they started including the color accents in it, and that was just so amazing to me. This one blew me away so much, even though I already knew what story I was going to get into. In the movie, they kind of broke it down into 2 parts. Like the first part when Nancy was a little girl, and then they played a second and third part in the movie, and then they came back to this part right here. This has the whole story, continued. And yeah, a lot of things unfold where Hartigan gets out of jail. He goes and looks for Nancy, and that Yellow Bastard comes back around and is doing stuff, and finally, Hartigan gets his wish. He gets revenge. He takes down that person. The biggest person, in Sin City is Senator Rourke. And I just don't want to give spoilers onto if Hartigan puts him down, puts him away, nothing like that. But he's a hard one to put down. Marv couldn't do it. Dwight can't do it. And who knows if Hartigan can. And there's a big spoiler out as to what happens at the end, which I'm not going to spoil. But like I said, the story in itself has to do with Nancy, and when she was a young girl, getting older, and Hartigan. John Hartigan, being the detective cop, getting ready to retire, gets framed for everything, gets thrown in jail. He starts, the letters stop coming from Nancy, so he gets out, and he tracks down Nancy, and then a whole bunch of things ensue where he finally gets revenge on that Yellow Bastard. That's pretty much the story in itself. I don't want to give too much more away. This is where I can't really show too much of it because they did step up their game on the details. You can actually see the nudity, but here's a little bit more of the art so you guys can appreciate it. This is such a good story, and I love how in these books they tie in so many of the previous books in them. In the movie, they didn't do that. In the movie, they didn't tie in previous. There was a part in the last book that I kind of want to mention where in the last book, Manute is talking to Gale, and she recognizes him from the Dame to Kill For. And she's like, yes, Dwight did this. So Manute knows who Dwight is already in the last book. Manute knows who Gale is. But in the movie, it didn't seem like that. And it goes so much deeper. They took out so many things from the book to the movie where some of it makes no sense if you really pay attention to it. As opposed to in the books, there's always a tie-in to the previous book. Now, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a tie-in with Nancy, Marv, Dwight in it that you guys will notice in here. And I don't want to give that away. They're like little Easter eggs per se, right? I don't want to give them away though, but yeah, here's another great looking shot. Amazing work. And now I don't want to give too much spoilers of what happens at the end, but I do want to give a quick look at the very end. There we go, right here. The pinup gallery, because there's always that extra stuff at the end. I'm not sure. I kind of flipped through it once, but I'm not sure if there was any nudity. But look at this amazing art. And I do believe it's by various artists. Like this one right here is by Mike Alfred. This one over here is by Kyle Baker. By the way, if you guys don't know who that is, that's Miho. On this one, I'm not sure who this is right here at all. I kind of want to say that's maybe Agamemnon, which is Dwight's kind of helper slash partner. Let me, yep, there's nudity in this one, so hold on. This one's by Jeff Smith. That's Marv. And that's Marv over here. Hold on, there we go. So you guys can see a little bit better on that. That one's by Bruce Timm. Let me see if there's any nudity in, oh, okay. This is cover gallery. So this is the covers of the chapters. There's a cover of John Hartigan. I don't know why I keep calling him Matt. I don't know who this one is. I think this is John Hartigan's partner. I think this is over here's Agamemnon again. John Hartigan, you can tell because of the X on his head. I do know this is Nancy Callahan right here because she's the dancer and she does like that cowboy lasso thing. Nancy Callahan and John Hartigan. Nancy, this is a good one. I like the black and white how they did it right there. This is just an amazing picture right there. This is from the portfolio book that I was showing you guys. The 2-page one. This is awesome. And this is what really drew me in a lot. The colors. I so wish they would do like a reprint of all these, but add color to them. That would be so amazing. But look at this. I previously mentioned this before that if they, you know I have all the absolutes of these, but if they came out with absolutes again, but in full color, I would buy them all again. I mean, just even like this, I would buy them with the color. It's just so amazing. And that's the last one right here. You know, kind of going over all the volumes again in the other works. What's weird is in the previous book, Dwight actually mentions the King Leonidas and the 300. He does like a big old explanation of it, and I'm pretty sure they did it on purpose because to kind of put in that Frank Miller did, 300. So I might end up picking it up just because, it mentioned it in there as a nod, an Easter egg. Who knows? But anyway, that's the ribbon that it comes with, and there's a picture of Hartigan. Oh, sorry. And yeah, that's the book right now. So let's go ahead and do my review, or now that I did the review, let's do the rating of this. Alright guys, so I hope you liked the review of this. Like I said, I try not to give spoilers, a lot of spoilers anymore. I'm trying to keep the review of it, like as part of the story, as simple as possible. That way it's not to give too much of it away. Nobody wants to go into a book already knowing what's going to happen because I told the whole story minus the end. So I do apologize for doing that previously in my videos. I'm trying to work on trying to simple it down as much as possible to the point where, it's just a simple plot and there's a lot of twists and turns. So overall, I'm gonna give this book a 9. I've been giving the previous ones an 8 because first and foremost, I liked the art, but it was in black and white. I gave it an 8 because I already knew what the story was gonna be and things like that, right? But I'm giving this one a 9, even though it's the same because I already knew the story going into it. The art, is kind of the same, but I'm giving it a 9 because the art changed up. They went into more detail with the art. They added the color accents. That kind of interested me so much more, and it kept driving me in. I did not want to stop reading this one, and so yeah, I'm giving this one a 9. This was a game changer in this series for me. Overall, I'm still keeping the whole Sin City storyline. I guess you can say the 4 books so far that I've read, I'm giving it so far still an 8. And that's kind of my rating for it. So I highly recommend, if you guys haven't read these, if you guys seen the movie, I still suggest you guys seen this. And if you guys read this, and if you guys haven't seen the movie and want to, I highly suggest that you read these before you watch the movie. It's so much more better. What's funny to me is if you read these comics or graphic novels before you watch the movie, you'll be disappointed with the movie a lot more. You're like, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they needed this, right? You will be disappointed with the movie, even though the movie was fantastic. These are so much better in my opinion. But anyway, quick recap of the book. Frank Miller's Sin City, that Yellow Bastard, Absolute Edition, hardcover, yellow. I'm sorry, yellow. I keep saying the Yellow Bastard. Red page endings right there. I'm sorry. Let's do this. By Dark Horse Comics, and with sewn binding. Quick recap on that. So I hope you guys really enjoyed my review so far. I know we're still sticking with Sin City. There is 3 more books to go after this. There's our Family Values, Booze, Broads, and Bullets, and To Hell and Back. Those are actually ones that I don't know. They didn't put them in the movie, so I don't know what I'm going to be going into or what they're about. So I'm hoping those kind of rise my rating on what I'm going to rate them at the end. So we'll see what happens. If you guys like this review, please give me a like. It really helps my channel. Hit that thumbs up, and that way these can actually get out more so people can see them. If you guys read these and seen the movie, let me know in the comments down below if you guys enjoyed the movie more or these ones. If you guys just read the graphic novels already, let me know what your favorite story was between all of them. I'd really like to know, because so far I don't want to be that guy, but I kind of want to say that this one's so far my favorite, only because it changed the game for me. Don't get me wrong, I love Marvin, the first one. It was an amazing story. Dwight's story in the last 2 was also amazing, but this one just kind of changed the game for me. It really did. So let me know what your guys' favorite is in the comments down below. Also, if you guys have any recommendations on which books I should read next, also leave that in the comments. I'm more than happy to look into it. I'll do a few reviews, see if it's something that I would be, enjoyed. The only thing I'm not going to enjoy so far, and I might give this another chance though, is some space and alien stuff. I might give that another chance, but that's something that this is not really for me. So if it's something that you're going to recommend, maybe hold off on it for a while. And if and when I do start reading them and something does pull me in, I'll let you guys know. I'll do a review and maybe say that. But as of now, let me know what you guys recommend. I'll definitely look into it. And if you guys haven't done so, please, I know I do say that these videos are for me, but subscribe to my channel. It helps build my channel and get these videos out there for other people to see. That way they can make a decision on if they want to pick up the books or not. So that being said, we'll see you on the next one.